This past week, UFC superstar Conor McGregor has been found civilly liable of sexual assault by a jury of 12 of his peers in Ireland, dating back to December of 2018 and the rape of Nikita Han in a hotel room. And since I did my initial reaction, which I strongly encourage you to go check out, there's been a lot of developments regarding this verdict by a jury. Proper 12 has now dropped Conor McGregor. Other brands have now dropped Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor has tweeted and deleted multiple things. And lastly, we're going to discuss some humiliating and disgusting post and hypocritical post by Conor McGregor's girlfriend, fiance, Dee Devlin, which we're going to break down towards the end of this video. We're also going to talk about the supposed appeal of Conor McGregor. And we're going to unpack a lot in this video. We're going to discuss fan reaction. We're going to discuss media reaction, and in particular, Ariel Helwani, which I may make a dedicated video on. But we'll get through that throughout the video. Let's jump right into it. So one thing I want to point out, Conor McGregor found liable for sexual assault, vows appeal, and social media rant. So that was the initial news. And I just want to point this out. And again, I covered this in my original video, so I'm just going to touch on this very quickly. A jury in Dublin awarded a woman about 250,000 euros, which is about 257,000 US dollars, after accusing McGregor, 36, and another man, James Lawrence, 35, of sexually assaulting her on December 8th, 2018, while staying at a South Dublin hotel, the Associated Press reported. One thing I want to point out, okay? December 8th, 2018. December 8th, 2018. Let's take a look at Conor McGregor's children, okay? Right here. I don't even know how to pronounce this name. Born January 3rd, 2019. Let's go back to this date. December 8th, 2018. And it's not a question whether or not Conor McGregor had sex with Nikita Han. It's whether or not it was consensual, okay? We're not going to break that down here. We're not going to get into every little detail of the case right here. But he admits that he had sex with Nikita Han, regardless whether it was consensual or not. December 8th, 2018. Again, let's jump back. Conor McGregor's child was born January 3rd, 2019. So you know what that means? Dee Devlin, his girlfriend or fiance, I don't even know if they're engaged, was 9 months pregnant when Conor McGregor did this. Regardless whether it was a rape or not. By the way, let's get this out of the way right now for the fake media members, for the fake content creators. A lot of people are going to cover this. And for media, they're shying away from it for a multitude of reasons. One, monetary reasons. Two, fear of retribution from the UFC or getting on the UFC's bad side. Three, access. And, you know, then you have like content creators and whatnot who are shying away from this because it doesn't make them any money. Okay? So first off, in my humble opinion, if you're listening to any content creator or media member who refuses to say that this was a rape, they're only incentivized by monetary gain because they are terrified they're going to get demonetized. This video may very well get demonetized. It doesn't matter. But I want to break down this entire thing because there's been so much different things going on since I made my initial reaction video. But that's one thing I want to talk about, kind of touch on a little bit. The media's reaction, complete and utter embarrassment. The majority of it, we're actually going to highlight an interview Luke Thomas did. We're even going to look at a couple clips from that later in the video. But you got Ariel Helwani on his show looking like he's being held hostage, talking about it, basically just reading the article, not giving any thoughts on it, not giving any analysis on it. You have a lot of people making scandalous videos on it, but refusing to say what actually went on because they only care about this verdict, about this trial. In their mind, they only care is, how can it monetarily benefit me? That is a fact, okay? I don't care if this video gets demonetized. It may not. It probably will. But I just want to expose that. But anyway, December 8th, 2018, Conor's out raping up a storm, or bare minimum cheating on his 9-month pregnant wife. You know, 9 months pregnant wife. That's insane. Straight up insane. And a horrible character. And by the way, we're going to get into the brands abandoning here in a second because Proper 12 abandoned him. Conor McGregor no longer face of Proper number 12, product pulled from major Irish retailers in wake of sexual assault case. So I'm gonna break this down in a second because some people don't understand exactly what this means. But also, not only did this brand abandon Conor McGregor, another brand abandoned Conor McGregor. By the way, a little bit too late in my opinion. I think this could have been a while ago. Conor McGregor's constantly, you know, he's a poor face of any brand, to be quite honest. But I actually think it's time for the UFC to abandon Conor McGregor as well. But we'll get into that a little bit later. So Proper number 12 abandons Conor McGregor. What does that mean? A lot of people are probably confused. Well, doesn't Conor own Proper 12? Conor sold Proper 12. I believe he still owns a portion, but he owns a minority portion. He was the face of Proper 12 even after he sold it, and now he is no longer the face. He will no longer be in promotional material for Proper 12 because companies don't want to sell it when you have a civilly liable rapist as the face of the brand. So for Proper 12 to attempt to save face and stay afloat, I mean, I'm sure they'll probably stay afloat. They got to abandon Conor McGregor quick because they don't want to be like, oh, drink our Proper 12. And they have literally a civilly liable rapist advertising it. It doesn't work like that. And you know, whatever you feel about, you know, there's a lot of people out there defending Conor McGregor, and we'll talk about that a little bit in this video. At the end of the day, however you feel about this, you know, we have the internet lawyers nowadays. However you feel about this, you can understand why Proper 12 wouldn't want Conor McGregor as the face anymore. Because at the end of the day, you have Irish retailers pulling it off the shelves, which means it's not going to sell. If it's not in stock in the store, it can't sell. Therefore, it can't make money. You know, and maybe some people might look, oh, it's associated with Conor McGregor. Maybe there's a roofie in there. Okay? But that's not the only brand that abandoned Conor McGregor. We also have, Conor McGregor was in a Hitman game. Conor McGregor removed from Hitman video game after being found liable in sexual assault verdict. It was a video game that Conor McGregor was in. He was now removed from that game. I believe it was DLC, which is downloadable content. He is now removed because they don't want a civilly liable rapist, a civilly liable sexual assaulter in their video game. And by the way, I'll break this down again. Again, I highly encourage you to go check out the original video, which I will link down in the description. Civilly liable means a jury looked at all the evidence and said, more than likely this person did this. So the jury believed more than likely Conor McGregor raped Nikita Hand. That's what they think, okay? More than likely. That's what it means. It's not a beyond a reasonable doubt. It's more than likely. It's a probability thing, okay? Just to explain that again, even though I've explained it previously. So you have Proper 12 and you have Hitman dropping Conor McGregor for monetary reasons. We're going to get to the UFC in a second. Also, this was posted online. Apparently a gym who had a mural of Conor McGregor, and I'm going to mute this because I believe it has copyright music in it, is now painting over a mural of Conor McGregor because the last thing you want to look at in your gym is a civilly liable rapist. And you know what's crazy about this to me? Forget about even this case in general. When has Conor been a role model over the past even 10 years? 8 years? I mean, maybe back in 2016, you could look at him as a role model. But anyway, they painted over it. So things aren't looking great for Conor McGregor. Apparently there's some protests in Ireland, you know, kind of going against Conor McGregor and kind of discussing this verdict where he was found as a civilly liable sexual assaulter and rapist. And now you have people, brands dropping him and people painting over murals. Now, Conor McGregor posted this and then deleted it. I will be appealing today's decision. The judge's instructions and the modest award given was for assault and not for aggravated or exemplary damages. I am disappointed the jury did not hear all the evidence that the DPP reviewed. I am with my family now, focused on my future. Thank you to all my support worldwide. I covered this in the previous video. He has since deleted this. He tweeted a bunch of other stuff. I'm not going to pull, there's so much. I'm not going to pull up all his deleted tweets. But he is saying that he's going to appeal it. And a lot of people are saying, oh, this is going to be a redo. Conor's going to be found innocent. That's not, to my understanding, and we're going to look at a clip of an interview Luke Thomas did, which I think is probably the best information you can find on this trial on YouTube in general, but we'll look at that clip in a little bit. But Conor says he's going to appeal it, and then he deletes the tweet. What did also Conor McGregor post? Conor McGregor posted this. Now, he did not delete this. This is still up. This looks like it was curated by probably like a crisis management firm or his lawyer. People want to hear from me. I needed time. I know I made mistakes 6 years ago. I should have never responded to her outreaches. I should have shut the party down. I should have never stepped out on the woman I love the most in the world. I should have never stepped out on the woman I love the most in the world. By the way, we're going to get to D-Devil in here in a little bit. That's all on me. As much as I regret it, everything that happened that night was consensual and all the witnesses present swore to that under oath. I have instructed my legal team to appeal the decision. I can't go back and I will move forward. I am beyond grateful to my family and friends and supporters all over the world who have stayed by my side. That's it. No more. Getting back to the gym. The fight game awaits. So Conor McGregor seems like, oh, I'm going to go back and fight in the UFC, but I want to point this out because we're going to talk about D. Devlin later in this video. I should have shut the party down. I should have never stepped out on the woman I love the most. This was 2018, December 2018. Again, D. Devlin, 9 months pregnant with Conor McGregor's child, second child. And he only regrets it in 2024, November of 2024, 6 years later, when he's found to have civilly liably raped Nikita Hand. Not to mention he's been publicly cheating on her for years. NBA Finals public restroom, another alleged rape. Bare minimum, he's consensually having sex in the NBA Finals public restroom. D. Devlin is home with multiple kids. Okay, which also, let's point this out. Let's get to this right now. There's a lot of Conor McGregor defenders out there. There's a lot of internet lawyers who think they know everything about Conor McGregor, and they're like, well, the CCTV that they haven't seen, by the way, they just heard about it. The CCTV, and she lied, and she had a boyfriend and a kid at home, and this and that and this and that. These Conor McGregor white knights are some of the biggest pussies I have ever seen. A jury of 12 of Conor McGregor's peers reviewed the evidence for 8 days, heard 3 days of closing arguments, and said, you know what? More than likely Conor McGregor raped Nikita Hand. That's what they said. But instead, you have all these incel weirdos defending Conor McGregor like he's their own flesh and blood, which, by the way, would be despicable anyway, even if he is your flesh and blood. You know, to sit out here and defend a man that's out there supposedly raping people. And I know people are saying, you know, they're talking, like, I'm not going to get into every detail of the evidence. You know, people talking about the CCTV footage. They're saying, well, that's a horrible look. Apparently she kissed Conor McGregor. We don't know exactly. We haven't seen the video. We just heard about it. Also, she was heavily intoxicated. Okay. Conor McGregor's a straight up egomaniac. A rape for Conor McGregor falls right in line with his character, in my opinion. Okay. The fact that this woman had to have a tampon surgically removed from her. Surgically removed. The fact that a paramedic testified that she had unbelievable amounts of bruising all over her body. You know, apparently Conor's talking about, now you know how it feels when I tapped out in the octagon, something along those lines. Which, you know, some people are saying, Conor would never say that. You know how weird you have to be like, yeah, I really don't think Conor McGregor would say this while he's having sex. Yeah, I don't think Conor McGregor would say this while he's raping. Like, what? What? I just don't get it. And to sit here and pretend like you 100% know that he's an innocent man is just insane. And a lot of these people, you know, whether they're, you know, it's mainly social media, Twitter, you know, MMA wannabe personalities, and, you know, they're acting as if, you know, I've seen people in the comments, Joe, he's innocent. She had a boyfriend and kid at home, and she's out cheating on him, and she has a kid, and look at her. Okay, so if you're cheating on your significant other, you deserve to be raped. That's okay. Delusional, despicable, reprehensible. If you have a kid at home and you're out doing drugs and drinking, while that's, you know, I wouldn't say that's great behavior. Do you deserve to be raped because of it? I don't think so. And if you want to use that logic, well, she had a kid at home and a boyfriend at home, so she couldn't have possibly been raped. Okay, that's the logic. Okay, and we're getting into the weeds a little bit here, but I want to talk about this. Okay, no one else is going to. Everyone else is a bunch of pussies. They just want to make money. They just care about, you know, revenue coming in. They just care about, you know, going along with whatever they think the fans want to hear. Okay, so if she definitely had sex with Conor because she has a boyfriend and kid at home, couldn't you reverse that logic and say, you know what? Conor had a kid at home and a pregnant wife at home, or pregnant fiance or girlfriend, whatever she is. I keep saying wife, but you get what I'm saying, D. Devlin. So Conor has a significant other at home with one kid and another on the way. So that means he's definitely out raping, right? The same logic can be used that definitely means he's out raping, right? Because he's already doing 2 other morally wrong things. So that must mean that he's definitely out raping. And another point I want to get to is Conor McGregor's friend, I believe it's Justin Lawrence, was found innocent, okay? He was not found civilly liable. Innocent isn't the right word. That's a criminal trial, okay? Conor McGregor's not guilty. He's liable. Justin Lawrence is not, or James Lawrence, sorry, I believe it is not innocent. He's just not liable, okay? People are saying Lawrence is innocent, or Lawrence was not found liable, so Conor must have been not liable either. So let me get this straight. You respect the jury's decision for Mr. Lawrence, but you don't respect the jury's decision for Conor McGregor. Another massive flaw in logic that has been driving me nuts. Absolutely driving me nuts. Makes absolutely no sense. But yeah, Conor McGregor, he's ashamed of stepping out on the woman he loves the most. Meanwhile, 6 months ago, he stepped out on her with a midget, blowing a midget's back out. He's been cheating on her publicly, literally for years. This is a man with no morals. You know, again, if you want to use her kind of lack of morals per se to basically call her a liar, you know, when it really doesn't make sense because she wasted 6 years of her life to seek this justice. And had she lost, she would have been on the hook for a massive amount of money. She just seems to have wanted justice and to muddy Conor's name because she believed that's what he deserves because she's saying that he raped her. Okay? So it's just crazy that people are using poor character traits or poor actions by Nikita Han to basically say there's no way she was raped, but they don't use the same poor actions of Conor McGregor to say, you know what, he probably did that raping. And again, in my opinion, this isn't Conor McGregor's first rape or sexual assault. Again, this is my opinion. This is the first time he was held somewhat accountable for it. And you know, speaking of all these, you know, Proper 12 abandoning him, I think the UFC should abandon him as well. We'll get to that right now. I think the UFC should abandon him. And I know people are like, Joey, what? What? How could you say that, Joey? He's a money maker. He makes all this money for the UFC. First off, maximum he has 2 more fights with the UFC. He has 2 fights left on his deal. He's been publicly negotiating with the UFC for years. He hasn't fought since July of 2021, so he's been out for over 3 years. He doesn't seem like he has any intention on actually returning, so he's stringing the UFC along anyway. And even if he does return, he's only going to fight once or twice for the UFC before he goes off to potentially BKFC, which I don't think BKFC is going to abandon. And by the way, I don't think the UFC is going to abandon him either, but I think they should. But like, what's the point of even keeping Conor around? Lost to Dustin Poirier in a fight that he broke his leg. Again, July of 2021. Lost to Dustin Poirier, got KO'd. Beat the dead corpse of Donald Cerrone in 2020. Got destroyed by Khabib Nurmagomedov a month before this supposed rape against Nikita Han, which was the following month, you know, again, when his fiance, girlfriend, wife was 9 months pregnant. His last actual good win is his title win against Eddie Alvarez in 2016. It's been 8 years. 8 years. 8 long years. How many sexual assault allegations? You know, how many things that make the UFC look bad in general? He's sucker punching old men in bars for not drinking his alcohol. Okay. Then you have the woman who accused him of assault and, you know, accused him of throwing her off a boat. Her car gets firebombed, and then all of a sudden she doesn't seek any justice. Nikita Han, during this civil trial, had her home broken into and her significant other stabbed. Men broke into her home with masks. That doesn't sound like a whole lot of coincidence to me. Now, maybe it is. Maybe just by chance this happened. It doesn't sound like a whole lot of coincidence to me. But for me right now, in my personal opinion, with Conor McGregor in the UFC, the juice ain't worth the squeeze. I mean, he's not an elite fighter anymore. So what is he worth? One more good payday for the UFC? It makes no sense. They need to take a page out of Proper 12's book and be like, you know what? We don't want this guy anymore. You know, okay, is he worth one more, you know, 1 million plus pay-per-view buy? Sure. But at the end of the day, he's a horrible look for the promotion. What happens if this happens again? And by the way, this appeal isn't going to change. It doesn't seem like this appeal will change much. We're going to get to that in a second when we check out a clip. But I just really think that Conor McGregor continues to dig his hole deeper and deeper. This is a post that he posted on Instagram, and then he deleted it. It's a song, Dirty Old Town, and he's posting pictures of him in a suit, and then he's posting a picture of the court, the Supreme Court of Ireland. And basically, he's mocking the verdict. First off, even if he is innocent, I don't think an innocent person goes on social media to post like mocking pictures of, oh, check out me in my suit. And, oh, the Supreme Court. Like, it's just very, very bizarre. And then just to delete it. It's very, very bizarre actions from Conor McGregor. But there's people that continue to defend him. The media, all they do is they just read. Like, Conor McGregor was found civilly liable of sexual assault of Nikita Hand, December 2018. Blah, 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 body, 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 body. And they really don't do much else than that because they're scared of giving an opinion on it. They're scared of it giving any real analysis on it. My analysis, I broke it down in the first video. I'll break it down again. Conor admitted that he had consensual sex with her. So he had sex with her regardless. He admitted to that. There was a tampon that had to be surgically removed from deep inside of her. There was bruising all over her body. A psychiatrist, I believe it is, testified that from speaking to her, she still has PTSD from this incident. There's no reason to draw this out for 6 years. Potentially put yourself on the hook for hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, if you lose against someone of power like Conor McGregor, all because of a false claim. Also, she was supposedly offered settlements from Conor McGregor out of court. She refused to take those settlements, probably got less money in the end because she refused to take those settlements because at the end of the day, she wanted to stain his name because she believes he deserves to have his name stained. Next thing I want to take a look at. Okay, we already looked at Conor McGregor had a child January of 2019. Dee Devlin was 9 months pregnant when he supposedly raped Nikita Hand. I want to look at an interview Luke Thomas did with a reporter from Ireland who sat in on the entire case. And I keep seeing people say, well, she didn't pursue criminal charges. Nikita Hand didn't go after him criminally. So why'd she go after him civilly? Because she just wanted the money. That's not how it works at all. Luckily, this gentleman from Ireland breaks it down perfectly right here. Listen to this.
Yeah, well, look, in terms of the forensic evidence, I mean, it was clear that Conor McGregor and Nikita Hand did have sexual relations that evening, that there was some sexual activity. There was a forensic scientist who gave evidence about DNA samples that she had tested and that were a match for Conor McGregor.
By the way, I don't know if you guys picked up on that. He's got a wife, 9 months pregnant. He's out there raw dogging randoms and dropping loads in them. DNA evidence. He's dropping, oh my, that's crazy. That's crazy.
But I suppose what's important to remember is that a forensic scientist giving that evidence can't give any sort of opinion as to whether that sexual activity was consensual or otherwise. So in Ireland, the independent body that will decide whether or not criminal charges are brought and prosecutions are carried out is the Director of Public Prosecution. So what happened in this case, and it's the same with every other criminal case in this country, is the Gardaí, our police force, would have investigated the complaint after Nikita Hand made it formally. They interviewed Conor McGregor. I think there were 4 interviews. He made some prepared statements or in consultation with his solicitors where he flatly denied the allegations. They would have harvested all the CCTV footage that they could to try and piece together a timeline in relation to events. They would have obviously had the medical evidence and all of that. Once they're finished their investigation, then the Gardaí hand that file over to the Director of Public Prosecutions. And
he goes on to say, they decide if they think they can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he is guilty. They decided that they could not prove that. The evidence did not bear that out. The evidence not bearing that out beyond a reasonable doubt does not mean innocence. It just means they don't have enough evidence to seek a conviction. So therefore, they're not going to bring it to court for a criminal trial. That's it. That doesn't mean he didn't do it. That just means they didn't have enough evidence to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. But Nikita Hand so desperately wanted Conor to pay for this that she took the chance to go to civil court. She took that chance knowing there's a lot of publicity. And she went on to say that she believed there was enough criminal evidence, but she believes Conor McGregor, because he has money, because he's powerful, that basically that helped him get out of trouble, which wouldn't surprise me at all. Obviously, rich people think they can do whatever they want. But she sought this civilly, and they found him civilly liable of rape, which means more than likely he raped her, according to 12 of Conor McGregor's peers. Next clip I want to look at from this, because a lot of people are talking about appeal. Conor obviously posted that he wanted to have an appeal, that it's not as cut and dry as a lot of people think. It doesn't really work the way you would think. This ship has sailed. Unless he can prove that something legally was done inappropriately, this doesn't just go away. This isn't a new head-to-head battle. It doesn't get a retrial. That's not the way it works. And this reporter from Ireland talks about it here.
Important because some people think that when it comes to appeals, again, it's not like the movies, you know, where like there's a smoking gun brought into the courtroom that will prove one person's case over the other. That's rarely happens, you know. More often than not, it's legal points, you know, legal arguments that maybe didn't go their way that they'd be arguing the point on. You essentially will have to prove to the court that he didn't receive a fair trial, and he'll have to outline the reasons for that to be successful. But
so he would have to prove that he did not have a fair trial. There would have to be some legal protocol that wasn't done correctly for Conor McGregor to win an appeal. So it's not like he's going to get a retrial. He's a civilly liable sexual assaulter, a civilly liable rapist. That is what they found, okay? And unless he finds some loophole to get out of this, an appeal isn't going to work. And I've even seen some people saying an appeal isn't even the right call because it's going to drum up more publicity and more headlines that we're just going to keep going through this over and over and over again for another year or so. Now, I don't know exactly how it's going to play out. I haven't heard anyone really give true clarity to that. But this is one of the best interviews I've seen, informative, with Luke Thomas. I forgot this guy's name real quick. Let me actually look. This is... Where is it at? I know I saw his name somewhere here. Am I totally... Oh, Frank Greeny from News Talk in Ireland. There you go. And I'll even like this right now. I encourage you guys to go check this out. It's an hour and 1 minute. So I highly encourage you to go check this out. It's the most informative thing you can find on the entire thing. Last thing I want to get to is what D. Devlin posted on social media. And actually, I'm going to have to shrink this down so you can really, truly see everything. This is what D. Devlin decided to post on social media. And this is just completely abhorrent, in my opinion. Okay? I understand that Conor's her man. They're not married, whatever. She has multiple children with him. But this is what she decided to post on social media. I think this is throwing gasoline on a fire. Imagine a woman with her own boyfriend and child texting provocative pictures of herself to another woman's man with a family and child on the way. Is this not laughable? Imagine a man with multiple children, well, one and one on the way. He has a 9-month pregnant wife, hanging out with what you're essentially saying are dirty sluts. So it's her fault, but you don't condemn your own man, okay? This woman claims to know me, yet still went ahead and sent messages and pictures of herself over and over to my man. And he responded. So why don't we put a little bit of the earnest on Conor McGregor? Really, while out on a 3-day bender, texting excuses to her own child at home, where Mammy is on Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, Sunday night, into Monday morning. What was Conor telling you? Where was he at? Okay? All while out of her face in a hotel room, dancing around a hotel car park. What sort of woman are you? What sort of man is Conor McGregor to be doing the same? Again, you're insulting her character, but yet all these things could be reversed and kind of recontextualized and aimed right at Conor McGregor, which is her man, okay, for lack of a better word. Next post, okay? And by the way, also, I know it's kind of like a controversial thing. I hope that this grows. Somebody made basically a copy of what Twitter used to be. It's called Blue Sky. And you can actually, like, if you block people, they won't end up on your feed. It's not nonstop political stuff. You can actually just talk about MMA. I created an account. I posted this. I'm posting here and there on this account. It's called Blue Sky. If you care to go follow me, if you care to even make an account, if it grows enough, apparently it's been growing recently. I've seen a bunch of people post about it. And I was like, you know what? I'll make an account. If you care to go follow me on there, make an account. I'll be posting on there. Next post, and I posted this earlier, by the way. I posted this with D. Devlin defends her rapist husband, Conor McGregor, which is not really even her husband, who was out raving up a storm while she was home 9 months pregnant. While she's warning her sons, she ought to warn her daughters, men like her husband exist as well. You'll get that in a second. Because she posted this also. My sons will be warned, women like you exist in the world. Well, you better warn your daughters, men like Conor McGregor exist as well. Because bare minimum, I mean, look at the way he, holds himself even out in public. Imagine the stuff we don't see. Think about everything that we do see. This man's coked up out of his mind, drunk 24/7 as a damn near 40-year-old man. I know that's a bit of an exaggeration. He's 36. Think about what we don't see. All this man does is snort coke and drink alcohol 24/7. Next post. I look for CCTV does not lie, which is a lot of people that Conor McGregor defenders are holding on to, which they haven't actually seen. Maybe she has actually seen, but apparently she kissed his arm. Okay, she could have had a shocking reaction to being brutally raped. She could have been drunk and coked out and didn't know how to act. We don't truly know. But at the end of the day, what we have is physical evidence, which appears more than likely, according to 12 jurors that are Conor McGregor's peers, deemed more than likely he did do this. I look forward to the day that the world will see the footage of you on that night and carry on of you. Not a bother on you having the time of your life. This is real evidence, video footage no one knew was being taken in the moment, which you miraculously don't remember. To me, it looks like you are the one sexually assaulting in the lift. To me, it looks like everyone is trying to get away from you. So there you go. And then lastly, Conor and I dealt with these issues privately many years ago, as should be done in a relationship, and we have come out stronger than ever. We have 4 beautiful children now whose smiling faces and happy hearts are a testament to who he is and who we are. They without sin cast the first stone, which apparently is from the Bible. So she's really defending her civilly liable rapist boyfriend with Bible passages or excerpts from Bibles. I mean, that's just disgusting and despicable. She should have just kept her mouth shut, to be quite honest. And it's crazy to me that Conor and I dealt with these issues privately many years ago. He's literally been cheating on you publicly. Publicly. There's video, as you mentioned. You know where she mentioned it at? Hold on, right here. Right here. CCTV does not lie. We have multiple cell phone footage of him going into public restrooms with other women. You know, he's basically, you know, getting handsy with a midget on video, in pictures. He's out cheating on you 24/7 to the point everyone, the Conor McGregor, you know, fans and kind of, you know, fanboys just in general say, oh yeah, Conor and D have an open relationship, even though nobody's ever said that. This is a man that is openly cheating on his, I keep wanting to say wife, and I may have said that, misspoke multiple times throughout this video, but you get my point. The woman that he's been with since high school is out there openly cheating on her in public. How humiliating is that? And for you to come out and say some stuff like this, when I think it's perfectly in line with Conor McGregor's character to have potentially done this rape, and it's just like quoting the Bible, and yeah, we have 4 beautiful children. Yeah, one of them was growing inside of you while he was having sex with Nikita Han. Admittedly from him. Okay, he admitted that. And by the way, he's dropping his load in her too, which apparently he just recently met her. And he's just dropping his load in her while he's choking her out, saying, now you know how it feels when I was in the octagon, tapping out. Last thing I want to take a look at, because this just makes me sick and completely humiliating. And a lot of the Conor McGregor stands are defending. I'm going to put this back how it was now, because I want you to remember, okay, she talks about right here, okay, this woman claims to know me, blah, 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 blah. Hold on, I'm trying to find it. Sent pictures to my man while texting excuses to her own child, okay? Texting excuses to her own child. She's speaking about her own child. She's speaking about Nikita Han's child and that she has a man. She has your own boyfriend, as you see right here, okay? So she's talking about Nikita Han, her relationship with her boyfriend, her relationship with her child. She also posted this on Instagram. We have this right here. This is a picture of her and I guess 2 of her kids and Conor. My man and I have created a beautiful life together. I love and I trust him and I believe him. Our 4 beautiful children whose smiling faces and happy hearts are testimony to the man he is and who we are. No one is entitled to comment on our relationship. We trust one another and love one another. Nothing or nobody will change that. Our family stands strong. We trust one another and love one another. I don't know. But it's funny. No one has the right to comment on her relationship with Conor, but she has the right to comment on this woman's relationship with her child and her boyfriend as well. Okay? With her own boyfriend. She has her own boyfriend, but yet she's out partying. How do you know they don't have an open relationship? Maybe they trust one another. Okay? And again, I'm just pointing out hypocrisies here. But this is just completely humiliating behavior. I mean, this woman has to look her 4 children in the eyes and know that, you know, we live in a house, your dad's a civilly liable rapist. And I don't see a way, based on the information I know, I don't see a way that will ever change, okay, regardless of appeal, unless there's some loophole he finds to get out of this. And to be honest, does this seem like out of Conor's character at all? That's the thing that's really damning. You know, you look at the physical evidence, it looks damning. The bruising, the things that have to be pulled out of her with forceps by a doctor, testified by a medical professional that had to happen. And now he tweeted and deleted a bunch of stuff, which my guess is his lawyer told him to delete it, but he was probably coked out or drunk or both, which is just his character. And at the end of the day, if you're out there defending Conor, acting like you were 100% there or you've reviewed all the facts of the case, I just think you're despicable. Bare minimum, you could say, you know what? It doesn't look good for Conor. Maybe he's guilty. Maybe he's innocent. I mean, even that, I think it's like, but that's at least somewhat reasonable. There's people out there defending him like he's their own flesh and blood, which you shouldn't even defend your own flesh and blood from doing this. I already said that earlier. Like, they're like, he's definitely innocent. They're acting like they were there, like they've witnessed it all. Like they know how everyone reacts to potentially being raped by a superstar. It just makes no sense to me. I think the UFC should just cut ties with him because at the end of the day, they're due to have a falling out anyway. You know, Conor hasn't fought, and it's going to be 4 years by the time he actually fights. Dana says it's going to be late 2025 by the time he actually fights. I don't know why I'm butchering at the end of this video. He's not going to fight for a while. He's not going to fight for the UFC long term anyway. I don't know what BKFC is going to do because he's part owner of BKFC and he's kind of the face of BKFC now. And he wants to go to BKFC. But if I had to guess, the UFC is probably going to be like, okay, we have one more payday for Conor. We'll have him headline an event. Michael Chandler will probably still be out there in public sucking him off. Like, yeah, man, Conor's a romantic, man. I don't think he would have done this. I don't think Conor would do something. He's a romantic man. He has a wife and beautiful children. I don't think he would have done this, man. But the road of Conor McGregor's return goes through Nashville, Tennessee. And he needs to get his candy ass back. And he'll say some dumb shit like that. If you're out here defending Conor like he's your own flesh and blood, which again wouldn't even make sense, you're despicable, you're reprehensible. I think a lot of the evidence points to most likely Conor McGregor did this, at least more than likely, which again is the laws of probability, 51% versus 49%. But it appears to be in his character. But honestly, I'll end with this. I'm completely disgusted in a lot of fan reaction, white knighting for him and acting like he's definitely innocent and there's no damning details at all. I understand there's some things that are like, oh, okay, maybe this is a little weird, but the physical evidence itself and the fact that 12 people, 12 of Conor's peers sat there and listened to days of testimony, days of closing arguments and decided, you know what, most likely he's liable for this. And you think you know better than them? Completely reprehensible. You have Ariel Helwani, just head down reading like he lost a family member because he wants to remain having access to Conor McGregor if he does indeed fight again, which most likely he will. Maybe not in the UFC. I hope Chandler does keep waiting for him. Keep waiting, Chandler. If you're watching this, keep waiting. But that pretty much wraps this up. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video. This is probably demonetized. I would greatly appreciate if you share the video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.